What was unusual is that several of the missiles were open. Not that anybody could access that early in the morning. It had been open the day before for some routine maintenance or other, and I don't remember why. But at least two of them were running on diesel power, so they were not connected to the power grid.
Okay.
And I don't remember if there was 3 open or 4 open. It was just routine maintenance on them. Nothing had happened. It was just the time of the year for routine maintenance.
Right.
And the day before, the maintenance teams were out there. They had stayed overnight, which again was not unusual. For all I know, they were painting the silo. I mean, there was nothing important anyway.
Do you know how many maintenance teams were out overnight?
I think it was 4. I want to say there was the 2 sites that had diesel running and the 2 others. And so when maintenance stays overnight, they have a little camper. And
right.
Missiles dropped off alert. I started calling the maintenance people out there on the radio to talk to them. Have the security guard authenticate, so I know I'm talking to the security guard. And what's going on? Nothing's going on. Is maintenance trying to get in the silo? No, they're still in the camper. And so when I get them up, and I want to talk to them. And, I try to tell them what I have is a Channel 9 no-go.
Uh-huh.
So we did that with the sites that were there and maintained, and I sent strike team to 2 other sites. There's no sense of sending them where I already have a guard with a gun and can authenticate.
Right.
So.
Well, so far in this narrative, you haven't mentioned UFOs.
That's correct. Somewhere along the way, one of the maintenance people, because he didn't know what was going on anyplace else either. They don't have no capability of talking to each other. They can talk to the capsule, but they can't talk to each other unless they're on the radio. And nobody was using the radio except the security police. And the guy said, we got a Channel 9 go. There must be a UFO over the site. I think I see one here or whatever. And I said, yeah, right, yeah. What are you drinking? And, he tried to convince me something. I said, well, I basically didn't believe him.
Okay.
And I said, hey, we got to get somebody to, take a look at this. The strike team that went out, one of the strike teams, one of the 2, claimed that they saw something over the site. And
how did they describe that?
Well, on radio, they just said they had this large object hovering over the site. And I've always been a non-believer, so I said, yeah, right. Yeah, sure you do.
Okay.
Said, oh, yeah, we do. I said, okay, there's 2 of you there saying so write it down in your report. And he said, what do you want me to do? I said, go follow your checklist. Go to the site, open it up, get on the phone, and call me.
What was the demeanor of the guard you were talking to?
I wouldn't say panicked or anything else. I was thinking he was yanking my chain more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. But he seemed to be serious to you.
He seemed to be serious, and I wasn't taking him seriously.
Okay. All right. And so, but if it's a large object, did he describe the shape of the object?
He just said a large round object.
Large round object, directly over the LF?
Directly over the site.
Okay. Did he describe the object leaving the scene?
No, he did not.
Okay.
He never said anything about it again.
And when you got the first call, when the missiles went down, you didn't have any inkling of an alleged UFO involvement until you got the report back from the first strike team member?
That's correct.
Okay, and only one of the 2 strike teams reported seeing an object?
Right.
Okay. Did you discuss the report with Mr. Carlson that you were being told there was a UFO at one of the sites?
He could hear it. He was sitting right there 2 feet away from me.
So
anything I would have said, he would have heard.
Did any of the conversations back at squadron headquarters, were there any mentions of UFO involvement?
I told them everything that people told me, and nobody made any comments or inquiries or
So you did mention the report that you got from the strike team?
Yes.
And no one asked you any questions about UFOs per se then?
No.
Okay. Did they react skeptically or negatively when you mentioned that?
They just wrote things down.
Okay, that sounds right. Poker face, write things down.
Poker face and wrote things down.
Okay.
What did Eric have to say?
He said that he couldn't recall any UFO involvement in the incident. He couldn't remember whether you had mentioned UFOs one way or the other. His son has now written on a blog, a web blog. He's written a couple of lengthy statements in which he really defamed Salas, said Salas is a liar. There was nothing involved with UFOs at Echo.
Did anything else that he say that seemed to be discontinuity?
Well, I told him what Bob Salas had written, that you had gotten calls from one of the sites and one of the maintenance people or guard, one or the other, had reported an object above the site, which you've confirmed today.
Yes.
And I asked Eric if he remembered any of that, and he said he did not. And I asked him why his son would have written this very negative, scathing summary, which I'll also send you of the event. And
that'd be interesting.
Basically, vilifying Salas and calling Salas a liar and so on and so forth.
I didn't do that.
Well, I know, and but his son, for whatever reason, his son James Carlson just got a bug up his nose and just said that nothing ever happened. There was no reports of UFOs, which is you told me is incorrect because you got one.
I did.
Well, according to James, it was all bull, and Salas was basically pulling it out of the air and so on. So, in any case, that's neither here nor there. But Carlson just he didn't really want to talk about it, frankly. But he did answer my questions. He just was kind of circumspect too, and I can't say that he's not being truthful when he says he doesn't remember talking to you about UFOs, but that's what he told me. So
I'm sure we had a long conversation. I mean, I